Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
That sounds like a matter of opinion.
Okay.
Today's stream is brought to you by Strawberry Jarritos. 100% strawberry for 100% Mexicans.
I'll bet that's not even true.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of hardworking Honduran labor going right into that. Okay, Tim said that he'll be sitting out because he's not feeling well.
Aw.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to a much soberer edition of Magnes Adventuring Guild. Would everyone go through, introduce your character, racing class, and then also give me your AC and max HP?
Oh, I don't like that.
So much information.
I'm sorry, I'm getting two things out of the way at once. So, starting with Chris.
Okay. Tonight I will be playing Elin of the Isle of White Cloud, and she is an Asmar Paladin. AC is 18, HP is 29.
Would you kindly write that in the chat so I know how to spell her name? And
It's
pronounce
Elin. E-L-I-N.
it? E-L. I'm gonna write this in the letters of a third grader.
I've literally told him how to pronounce some of my characters, and he still can't do it right.
N. What is Elin?
she's an-
ASMR.
Yeah, Asmarian Cleric.
Ass.
I'm sorry, Asmarian Paladin.
MR. I'm playing Landre. I'm a Goliath, and... my dad's calling me. I reject him. I have armor class
Ryan!
of 17. And my HP is currently in the death saving throws.
Yes, that is your max HP. Good job, Brian.
I would have to stabilize my character to find that out.
I'm just gonna say Brian's max HP is 0. And Irene.
I am playing Ramiro and Ikrokra Druid. My AC is 14. My max HP is 19.
Okay. All right, and with Tim out, definitely don't feel too bad about bumping Chris up for this level. So, when we last joined our adventurers, you had set out from Old Man Jenkins' farm, and you were planning on stopping the large ones, as Lizanardo had put it. Some sort of mix of... Oh, whoops, that's not how you spell her name. Some mix of orcs and bugbears and probably other goblins.
Oh my.
Oh my, indeed. You had stumbled across an orc camp, I believe, sometime after pitching your own camp. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And then things got weird real fast.
Really fast.
Real fast. 100 to 0, and then back to 100. Real quick. 13 HP. Also. Okay, so you guys had started out this fight, and a whole bunch of damage had been dealt, and then there were ducks, and you thought you heard something about a ghost. And
When did the thing about the ghost happen?
There was definitely a ghost.
there was definitely mention of a ghost. So, everyone roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Your HP is 0, Brian.
That's what he declared it to be.
Uh-oh.
And what am I rolling?
Con save.
That's an 8.
Okay.
That is 18 for me.
Cool.
15.
15. So remember when I said I was going to go get dice?
Yeah.
Definitely 100% forgot to do that. I will be back in 1 second.
I mean, if you're gonna be definite, 100% is a good way to be there.
Dog hair all over my keyboard.
Good news. I also found cheese.
Grommet?
Cheddar check.
Roll a cheese check.
I also found
Cheddar check.
cheese.
I found cheese.
Ooh.
I'm rolling Gouda tonight.
It
That dice is good dice, Jill. You failed me.
made me sad when I found out it's pronounced Howda.
What?
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 That's what I was told.
No.
Someone was
What is
messing
pronounced
with you, dude.
Howda?
Gouda cheese.
Yeah, that's 100% wrong. Okay. Okay, so one of you had taken it upon yourselves to start stomping upon the ducklings.
That was Tim.
And yeah, so Landre is lying there kind of bleeding out, and
Oh
Brad.
my god, he's right. It's a Dutch G, which is pronounced like a guttural sound, in like kind of like an H with an owl after it.
Sorry to ruin that for you.
Sounds fake. This is America. We don't pronounce the Dutch.
Yeah, and fuck GIFs too.
Okay. Well,
Whoa.
didn't know you hated peanut butter, Brian.
Adams.
What? Anyway, Brad Chuffton, who is always helping, had started stomping on these ducks, and they started letting out loud honking noises. As ducklings that are being stomped on are wont to do.
What was that noise? God,
And Elin, you're the first to notice that these ducklings, as he's stomping on them, they're squishing, but then they squish into like this kind of cloud, almost like a really low-hanging fog, like what a smoke machine puts out.
It makes me so happy that you're not retconning.
Like those puffball mushroom things.
Yeah, but like even thicker and denser. And like before too long, there's just this ankle-deep fog surrounding all of you. And then as he squishes the last little duckling and it lets out one last final this cloud of smoky vapor kind of starts pooling into one spot right in front of Ramiro.
Oh.
And it forms into a figure, humanoid in shape, but with the head of a lion.
Okay.
And it's wearing, it's a male figure. It seems to be wearing like very loose monk-style pants. with like the wide cloth belt and very like loose ruffled pants for easy movement.
Okay.
And it lets out a kind of low growl and says, "Too weak." And it punches you in the face.
Jeez.
Oh, excellent.
Who does it punch in the face?
It punched Ramiro.
Can I use
Oh,
a
okay.
reaction to spores him?
You can try.
Yeah, let me do that. It's just I don't think I have to roll for it.
Is it the cloud of spores or whatever it is?
Hail of spores.
Halo of spores, yeah. Yeah, why don't you describe how you do that?
So as he goes to punch me, I reel back and I just like spit spores in his face. 84.
You see these spores kind of excuse me. They come out of your mouth in this cloud, and then they just kind of join this swirling vapor he seems to be made up of.
Ow.
And as you get punched, your vision goes dark.
Uh-oh.
You can still see what's in front of you, but it's kind of like you know those old what are they called? Viewfinders? Where like it's like the disc of pictures and you put it in and you pull the lever.
Yeah.
It's like one of those, and it got stuck between two pictures. So
Oh.
it's like one eye is seeing one thing and the other is seeing something else. But like your brain's trying to mix the two, and nothing's making sense out of the two of those.
Excellent.
He then walks over to Landre, where Landre is laying, and his walk is kind of it's very fast, but it seems almost like one step, and then he kind of glides the whole way, like he's skating. And again, he says, "Too weak." And he just kind of like punts you in the head, and the same thing happens. And Elin, you see this. Is there anything you would like to do before he kind of moves again?
How far is it away from me?
You all are really close.
Okay. And they like definitely just kind of went into like a vegetative state after he touched them.
Yeah, they're kind of they look really dazed. Especially Landre, since he was already pretty out of it. But it kind of looked like he stunned them, but it also looked like his punch went through their head.
All right, I sort of like hold up my shield in a defensive position and hold up my mace in my other hand, and I'd say, "What have you done to them? What magic is this?"
He turns to you and says, "You have to get stronger." And then he walks over to Brad and punches straight through the back of his head. And then in an instant is on you, and his fist goes through your shield and like clips you in an uppercut. And you all have this kind of blurred vision of like there's these there's this kind of like the crops that you were around, and then like this smoky figure in front of you as you Elin's the last one to kind of stay on her feet. It's her, correct?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. She's the last one who stays on her feet, and she's kind of like fighting it. But your vision, it's fading between these two images, and you're trying to like you go to like rub your eye with your hand that's holding the mace, but you find that you can't lift it. And then you just kind of like shut your eyes real tight, trying to kind of get that like deep blink and clear your eyes. And when you open them, you are the first to kind of come to your senses, and you are staring at a a very dark kind of crop field. It seems that like where you are, it is pushed down, kind of like how a crop circle would be. In the center of this kind of circle is a campfire raging. You can see 2 tents immediately, and you see your legs splayed out in front of you, like you're sitting on your butt and your legs are just straight out. Your arms are pulled behind your back, and you feel them pushed into another being, and you feel their hands like pushed into yours, and there are very tight ropes cutting into your wrists. Looking over to your right, you see Landre and Ramiro are tied to this post in a very similar position as to how you are tied up.
All right.
And they're like, so basically your back is to this post, and then on the opposite side of the post is someone else, and then like your hands are reached around the post, so it's pushing into that person's back.
Oh, I see.
Who's
Okay.
behind
And
him?
all 3 of us are tied up to the same post.
No, you are tied up to one post, and you feel someone else's. You feel like claws digging into your back, basically.
Oh, but he can see us across from him?
Yeah, so I'm gonna upload a photo real quick of like how you guys are oriented. But you two are coming to slowly after him. So he was the first to kind of get all of this like processing.
So I'm not in my death saving throws anymore.
You are not.
Hurrah! What do I do?
You-
Go to 1 health or full health?
Everyone is 2 health down from max.
Nice.
Okay.
Wait, did I not screenshot it?
Uh-oh.
Oh no, there it is. Okay. It was before the Mike fires beard.
How about... Do we get all of our spell slots and everything back?
That's the wrong channel.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, hold on. Okay. Yes. As far as you know, all of your spells are there.
Okay, so I'm
So,
doing a long rest, and I'm going to take 2 hit points.
correct. So Elin is tied up to that leftmost post.
Most.
And he does not know who he is tied with. Or like tied up with. Landre, you are tied to the center left post, and you feel feathers, both like kind of where you're pushing into, and like what's the hands being pushed into you, the kind of talons.
Interesting.
Ramiro, you are also on that center left post.
Okay.
And like it's super awkward because you have wings on your back, so your wings are kind of like you're tied up so that your wings are kind of like flared out from your body.
Oh, okay.
And you feel your arms are like pushed into armor.
Oh, okay, so we're back to back.
Yeah, you two
Yes.
are back to back. Landre, you are looking out at the campfire. Ramiro, you are looking out at this. They're very tall, reed-like plants. And it is nighttime right now. And then to your right, at the center right post, you see Brad tied to one of these posts. And Brad looks a lot worse than the rest of you at least feel.
Because there's a giant hole in his head. Where he's punched all the way through his head.
You could roll a perception check if you want.
That is a 16 plus, what is my perception? Plus 3, 19.
Did you two want to do perception checks at all?
Okay.
Ramiro or
yeah.
Lander? Okay.
Perception. That's a 17.
Dirty
Okay.
20.
Oh, okay. Wow, you all rolled really well. Cool. So you all are able to see that Brad has like blood running down from his temple, and he still looks fully unconscious, whereas you guys still feel dizzy-headed and kind of out of it, but like you're able to kind of gather your surroundings at least. Landre and Ramiro, you are able to look over to your west, I guess, as far as the picture orientation. And you see Elin tied up back to back with Lizanardo.
Elin's on the leftmost post.
Yes.
Okay.
You both are also able to notice that you're not certain why. You would guess kind of because either the wings got in the way or like with the feathers that they were trying to tie around, your bonds don't seem extraordinarily tight. The ropes tying you up feel kind of loose, honestly. Landre and Elin, you are facing this campfire, and you see two figures. They're standing in between the. They're standing on like the northwest side of the campfire, and they appear to be arguing. Do any of you speak Orcish?
Oh,
Nope.
I speak giant.
I do not.
Okay.
I speak a Celestial and Elvish in common.
You can all hear them, but you aren't certain what they're saying. And they're probably arguing for a good 45 seconds before Elin, you feel like a little bit of a movement behind you, and then this
Oh, please, God, don't wake up.
this clawed hand.
Please, God, don't wake up.
This clawed hand pushes into your back, and you start hearing. You hear Lizanardo's voice, but she seems to be like translating what these orcs are saying as they're arguing.
You can understand them.
In between the like what you hear from her translation, she gives a quick yes. But you hear the like it's a very clear call and response where it's being almost immediately translated. And you hear the two figures. You rolled a 18. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, you're able to match these voices up pretty easily, even though Lizanardo doesn't give much difference in her voice. There's one of them that's very tall and muscular, and he is clearly an orc. Both you and Landre can tell that both of these figures are orcs. But one of them is very tall and muscular and thick, as you would expect kind of a chieftain to be. The other one is hunched over this walking stick that seems to end in. You can't quite make it out, but it looks like it ends in like a very knobbled top, kind of like an elder, or you would assume a shaman from what they're saying.
All right. Do either of them look like the thing that attacked us?
No, not at all.
All right. Also, Nobbled Top sounds like it'd be some craft whiskey or something.
I thought you were gonna say like a British punk band.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you hear. I'm gonna use their voices because I'm not translating Orc into Lizanardo voice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But you hear What do you mean the spell is fading? Like I said, I only have so much magic left in me. So you need to either get them there faster or kill them. Ugh. You know we can't kill them. And he has a long pause as it seems like he's trying to get his mouth around this word that also doesn't get translated. And it's just Drell needs them. He needs to know. Well then, we better start going faster. Or we won't get there in time. And the next part of the message gets cut off as it starts to be this large orc kind of yelling, and then the magic in your head just drops as you feel Lizanardo's hands kind of go limp for a few seconds.
So, can I see from where I am, like our weapons and stuff?
Sorry about that. You cannot see your weapons. You do notice that all of you are still in your armor. And you also see, in addition to the 3 tents that are set up, there is a large, kind of a long makeshift table set up between the left tent and the upper tent. And there's what seems to be like a canvas kind of bag that looks really lumpy and looks like maybe where they threw all of the stuff that like you guys had on you. And to the between the top tent and the right tent, there's a rather large cart and several horses.
I kind of look over at the stuff and then look towards Ramiro and Landre, and kind of give a nonverbal cue as to like that's where we need to get to.
I nod and look that way as well. As much as I can, considering my position.
You guys are about
Um,
15 feet apart, too.
Okay.
And
does it
probably
feel
20
like-
feet from the campfire.
Does it feel like after a moment that oh shit, what was her name? The
Lizanardo.
Lizanardo. Yeah, does it feel like she's like sort of coming back to consciousness at all, or is she still, like faint back there?
Yeah, after a few seconds, she, like, her hand kind of goes limp. Not like she passed out, more like she was dropping the connection between you two, and like you could hear her like breathing kind of heavily for a few seconds, and then she starts kind of shimmying her arms strangely. As much as she can.
Are your bounds loose?
She taps you on the back once.
I
And she's
guess
still breathing a little heavily.
I'll count that as a once for yes, two for no.
She taps twice.
So, no, your bonds aren't loose.
She taps once.
Got it.
Not like this easy. I'm gonna start shaming my arms to loosen my binds.
Okay. Roll me a sleight of hand check.
17.
You're not able to like get them off, but you kind of feel like you loosened the knot a little bit and it gave slack on your arms end, so there's a little bit of just extra space.
Okay.
But you're still like your arms are still painfully pulled backwards, like behind you, especially since your arms are kind of pulled through your like the loose feathers on your wings.
Okay.
But Landre, you notice that the bindings are slightly looser for you. Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
I'm not a very bright boy. I think I'm gonna try and just snap them by sheer force.
Okay.
It's going so well.
I think his
roll
thought
me
process is
a-
at the very least maybe he can stretch him out or something. Can I tell?
Okay.
Is it just standard rope?
It's hard for you to tell because it's tied around your armor, and you don't like actually see any rope. Actually, you rolled super high on your around and tell that it's just it's standard rope. It's just really sturdy.
Is this a wooden post?
It is.
Maybe I'll try. Does it feel like pretty nice smooth wood, or is it kind of coarse?
Oh, it's super coarse.
Maybe I'll try and see if I can just chip a piece of wood away with my nails to get it to where it will splinter a bit, and then try rubbing the rope on it.
Sure, roll me a hygiene check.
What?
That was a joke to see if you had long nails or smooth ones.
Oh, hygiene.
Yeah, sorry. Roll me a.
Gene has entered the camp, and you need to see if you say hi to him.
Adding that one
This-
to my joke book.
Oh no.
This rather dadly looking man walks in and goes, "Hi, I'm Gene." Roll me a strength. Or if you're gonna try and chip off a piece of wood, roll me sleight of hand.
3.
You get a really bad splinter right under your nail.
Oh no.
I'm down to my death saving throws again.
Oh man, I quit the stream.
I'm done.
Roll a con save to see if you let out any noise when this happens.
6.
Oh no.
It's pretty low, Brian.
Ryan.
Whew, and they rolled. I was gonna give them -4 for being in an argument, but they rolled a 13 and a nat 20. So you don't even let out that bad of a noise. It's just kind of like an oof. As you get the splinter under your nail, and both of their heads just like snap over to you. And you hear them kind of growling at each other again. Elin, you still feel Lizanardo kind of shuffling her hands behind her back. And when this noise happens, she starts to go like a more rapid kind of shuffle. So like one of her hands is like raising slightly while the other lowers, and then like she kind of reverses the two, if that makes sense.
How tall are these posts?
They're about 6 feet tall. 5 or 6 feet tall. They're not uniformly pounded in.
And how tall is Lizanardo?
Lizanardo is about 3.5 feet tall.
Hmm. I am.
Why don't you roll me an investigation check?
All right. That's
Or perception if that's higher.
okay. It's 12 plus a 12 plus 3.
15?
15.
So you start to feel this kind of what kind of armor are you wearing?
Chainmail with a halberd.
Okay. So you start to feel your chainmail around your forearms is getting kind of like pushed against your arms as she's doing this weird rubbing, and it's starting to chafe your arms a little bit. And then like you kind of feel her hand, or you feel some part of her with your hand and realize that her scales are they come to a very pronounced point, and you kind of realize what she's doing. She's trying to rub her arms along this rope enough to
Oh, okay.
yeah.
It's good that you explained that because I had no idea what she was doing. What I was about to suggest is that like I was gonna ask if her arms are layered over on top of my arms, or if it's vice versa, the way we're tied up. But if she's gonna get out that way, then that works.
Yeah, she's like wearing away at this rope with her scales.
How
So
much longer until you think you'll have it?
she stops rubbing for a bit and taps you once with one nail and then once with like her whole hand.
15 minutes?
She she wraps you with like her fist and then just starts going at it again. And you see the orc start the tall orc start pointing over at you guys, and then like very loudly like shouting at the hobbled older orc, and then he starts storming over to you guys.
Oh shit.
He's coming over here. I say, kind of like, with my teeth kind of clenched.
Roll me a stealth check.
Oh, that is a 16 plus 0. 16.
Okay. That's plenty. He is moving over towards Landre, who made the noise.
Andre, act like you're asleep.
When she says that, my head immediately falls and my eyes close like a little kid.
Go sleepy sleep.
Okay. I'll say he's halfway there. Is there anything else you want to do real quick?
No, I don't have anything I can do.
Okay, are you still shimmying, Ramiro?
I see him coming, right?
You don't, but I'm assuming Landre said something.
Okay.
Like, at the very least, like an oh shit, and you heard the orcs, like, drop silent and then start shouting, and then you can hear his clomping, so.
I'm gonna stop shimmying and act like I'm asleep also.
Okay. Um,
Who's on
so,
the other 2 poles?
Bradley is on one of the poles. He is on the center right pole,
Okay.
and you can't see anyone on the furthest right pole as it is quite dark.
Oh, okay. And is there anybody else tied up with Bradley?
You can't see because the second pole is kind of in your way with Ramiro and
Okay.
Landre.
All right.
Landre, make me a performance check to see how asleep you actually look.
Six.
Oh.
I'm just gonna tell you, you had to beat a 5, and when you paused for that long, I really thought you rolled just a nat 1.
I got scared.
This orc comes over to you, and he kind of like grabs your chin and pulls it up so that you're like looking upwards, but you're doing that kid thing where you're going like and like you have your eyes like clamped shut, and he goes and you hear him growl something in Orcish before he kind of turns and starts stomping away, and then he starts yelling in Orcish again. Evelyn, you see him like gesturing at the older orc and then back at you guys.
Did they look distracted again in their conversation?
Oh yeah, they're back to full on arguing.
All right, Liz, go for it.
She does, and you feel your bonds are much looser than they were. It's not fully slack, but you feel like they're about as worn through as they're going to get.
Oh, she was wearing down mine?
Oh yeah, you rolled a 15 investigation?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of realize when she's doing this. Basically the bindings go like around your wrists and then around the pole twice and then around her wrists.
Oh, okay, so they're the same. Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
it's one rope just tying 2 people.
yeah, once I feel it start to loose, I'm gonna try to break it.
Yeah, roll in athletics.
I'm gonna go back to
Yeah.
shimmying.
It's
Sleight
15
of hand
plus
for you.
2. 17.
You don't even have to try that hard. You kind of like you try to do that thing where like a butterfly curl, if you know what that is, where you just like fully pull your arms around your body and it just instantly like snaps.
All right, and do I have one of my daggers on me? Did they take like the dagger out of my boot?
I'll say roll a stealth check for that.
So when I rolled, it like almost landed on the one. It hung there for a second. I'm like, oh no.
So that one's only a 9.
9. Okay. You want high or low then?
I'll take low.
Okay. You can't feel the dagger in your boot.
Okay. So, um, what kind of situation are the orcs in right now? Are they looking at us, or have they gone into their tent?
So the old orc is in front of that large tent. The large orc is in front of the leftern tent, kind of, and facing her, and they're kind of like arguing at each other. So you're probably in view of the older orc if she was paying attention to you. And Ramiro, you are able to get your hands just free enough that you feel the knot on Landre's hands, and you're able to start tugging at them,
Okay.
depending on what he is doing.
While they're still acting asleep. Yep.
So,
Okay.
what I am going to do
Mhm.
is I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon over to their pole, and it will take the form of a sword, a long sword, and I'm going to have it just like cut their binds like right down the middle there, just in a way that's not going to cut their arms or anything like that, but cut all them.
That's gonna be really hard because both of their arms are like crisscrossed behind their back.
But it still like goes along the pole though, and so like I think that there'd be a spot where like it can cut, where the pole is and not where their arms are, right?
Mm,
The problem
So-
is she's reaching around trying to undo my knots right now.
well, your arms are pulled behind your back. Landre's arms at the very least are pulled adjacent to the pole.
Well, I don't care about Landre's arms.
Okay, roll me an attack roll then.
All right, and that is a 12 plus 4, 16.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I'll say, Ramiro, you were just able to like untie this knot and get your arms free. And like as your arms kind of like snap back around the front of you, you see this. What does your spiritual weapon look like other than a sword? Is it just like a sword, or?
Yeah, it's like a plain sort of cross-hilted longsword.
Okay, you see this cross-hilted longsword in your like peripheral vision, just like come out of nowhere and cut the rope right where your arm was a second ago. And Landre,
Cool.
it like hits your arm, but it's like dead on right where your kind of arm guard is. And the rope just like it had started to go slack and then it just like fell.
That was a close one.
Okay. And the orcs are still arguing quite loudly in front of you. But yeah, you are now all free of your restrictions.
All right, let's see. So, once I stand up, can I see like who else is tied with Bradley?
You excuse me. You are able to see a very small figure in what appears to be some sort of very loose robes tied up to Brad. And the figure also looks very slack, much like how Brad looks.
All right. And then can I see the farthest post,
Um,
or is it just too dark?
there is some light from the firelight. That post looks to be empty from where you are.
Okay. So I will use thaumaturgy to make the sound of running away footsteps um from like kind of past the tents and then running off into the forest. Loud, but like loud, stompy, sort of stepping on twigs and branches, sort of footsteps.
Okay. And just so you know, this isn't like a forest. This is like reeds.
Oh, okay. Then it
It
would
is
sound
like
like
tall grasses.
yeah, it would sound like rushing through reeds then.
For some reason, I had it in my head that we're on an island, but is that not water?
No, sorry, I just didn't want to fill it all. It's all those reeds just as far as you can see.
Okay.
You could roll me a nature check if you wanted to see what kind they are.
They're Lou reeds.
Oh God.
16.
Millions of corpses. They look really reminiscent of a plant that you know to be called dew blades.
Oh, so they
Um,
go do 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 do
As you run through
do. Yeah, that's the sound that the thaumaturgy is making.
I'm leaving.
I mean, you could not have set that up any better after I had just, like said that thing about Lou Reed. So you only have to blame yourself.
Fucking hell. You know that they're grown because they can be sold in bunches, and adventurers can buy them to be kind of a replacement for water. They normally store lots of water in them, despite them being like very thin, um, wispy looking plants. So they're very light, and it's kind of like you could fill a water skin, or you could buy a pouch full of dew blades.
Where
These
did,
look strange though because they're standing straight up instead of their normal like kind of droopiness.
Elon saw and gestured to horses? Is that what he saw? Or our weapons and...
He
There's
gestured to your weapon, or it's a duffel bag that's really lumpy.
Oh, we don't know what it is then.
Technically, no, but it's your weapons.
If we don't know what it is, I don't think my character would make a break for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
How many orcs
Are you
we
guys-
dealing with right now?
you can see two. And are you guys all standing up?
Well, she just got our ropes loose. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do from here. Or
Sure.
he did. She did. I don't remember. I think I'm...
Ramiro and boy or girl?
Yeah. I think I'm just going to try and surprise jump up, and I might...
Oh.
What?
I might try and push one over so that I can focus on the second one. Like knock him backwards.
I do have Druidcraft, so I can cause a distraction.
Okay, well then you better do it before my character reacts, because he doesn't know that.
Yeah, I was hoping that that's what my feet running away sound would be.
You said that the footsteps are leading away from the camp, correct?
Yeah, like pretty much start like kind of between the left and big tent
Mm-hmm.
and running off into the reeds, just far
Okay.
enough away that like they would be able to hear the steps, but not obviously there's no one actually running, so they would
Right.
think that the steps were further away than.
Okay. Um. Shoot. Okay. Roll me a performance check, I think. Quick, Elin.
All right. That is a 13.
Okay. So you see both of the orcs kind of like snap their heads to where this sound is coming. And then the large orc starts shouting something real loud. And as he kind of like he he goes out of your vision um into the reeds, but you don't hear him go very far because you do not have dark vision, correct?
Um. No, I don't.
Okay, so yeah, you see him disappear into the reeds, and then 4 goblins kind of rush out of the tent, the large tent.
And with my bonus action in that round that I did the thaumaturgy, I'm gonna have the spiritual weapon move over to the thing with Bradley and the other person and do the same thing that I did with the other tied up people.
Okay, are you being more careful with this one?
I'm just trying to cut them, so I don't think
So
that there's
no.
a way that you can really be careful with spiritual weapon. I'm just trying to get those things cut and get us a chance to get out of here.
All right, roll me an attack roll with that then.
It is 18 plus 4, 22.
Okay. Yeah. You're able to cut the rope easily enough, and with this, you're kind of able to, like, as soon as you realize with Lizanardo and you being tied up with one rope, and Landre and Ramiro being tied up with one rope, you kind of slip it in between 2 of the rope bindings and just slice the rope instead of just like hacking straight at it.
Oh, okay.
Um, and both of the figures kind of like fall forward. Um, and kind of slump over onto the ground. But they're no longer restrained.
Okay.
And with that movement, I would say roll me initiative, everyone.
Nat 20 plus 2.
So the orcs ran off, or what? Sorry.
18.
Oops, sorry. You were able to see the orc leave your sight going into the field of dewblades.
Both of them.
Only the large one. Brian, was that 15 your initiative?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. 7, 4. Oop, I didn't write them down. And Shaman. 6. Okay. Um. Then Elin, you see these goblins. They rush out of the tent and kind of surround the elderly orc. And at least 3 of them look over in your direction, but it is your turn.
All right. So, and how far are they away from the post that had Bradley tied up?
Since they are on the opposite side of the campfire, they're probably about 50 feet from him, maybe even further. They're about 30 feet from you,
Okay.
and you're about 30 feet from Bradley.
Just trying to see how far I can move this in a turn.
Think it's 30 feet per turn?
20
Oh,
feet per turn.
it's probably 40 feet as the crow flies, if you're moving your weapon.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it'll take 2 turns to get to them.
As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the weapon up to 20 feet and repeat the attack against a creature within 5 feet of it.
Yep.
So yeah, as my bonus action, it is going to start moving in the direction of that I would guess an orc shaman. And then as my action, I am going to like say a little prayer and hold the symbol around my necklace and cast guiding bolt on the shaman. And just look that up real quick to see the. So I know it fucks shit up.
Should be an attack roll and then 4d6, I think.
All right. Yep. Ranged spell attack. And where's my spell DC? Thought I had everything written down, but that one is gone. All right. Spell attack +5. So that is a 16.
So you fire off this bolt at this elderly orc, and she lifts up her staff. And as it gets about halfway towards her, it just seems to like shatter into pieces.
All right, and like as I witness that, I am going to run in to the rightward direction towards the right side of the camp, but not like towards the orc. Basically, I'm running the opposite direction of where I sent the guy running after the footsteps.
Okay. Are you trying to run out of the camp altogether? Or just like more towards the pole with Bradley?
Eventually, I'm gonna try to like loop around, but yeah, like right now, I'm just trying to get out of the direct area where I just was and stuff. So I'm gonna run 30 feet to the right, basically. However far that'll get me.
That'll get you about 5 feet past Bradley's pole.
All right.
Nice. Oh, I marked that in the wrong spot. Okay. Oh, I didn't roll for. Oh wait, that's Listenardos. Okay. Lizanardo kind of looks around and sees you running away, and she also runs away and kind of cowers behind that pole that has the two slumped over figures. Oh, okay. And Ramiro, it is your turn.
Let's see. I'm gonna go into fungus form. Let's see. So I get 8 temp HP. And I guess I'm just gonna do hail spores against one of the goblins.
Okay. How much damage does that do?
Let me roll. Do still damage. That's 4 damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you cough up some of these spores, and they go straight for the frontmost goblin. And he starts kind of like coughing a lot and just kind of like coughing about as hard as I am right now. That wasn't planned, but he's kind of buckled over, still standing, but he, after coughing for a few seconds, you'll notice him start to kind of do that like dry heaving retch. Which brings us to the horde and the two. One of the orcs that was kind of like on the backside of the shaman because they formed just like a circle around her. One of them shifts around so that they're kind of forming like a 3-man wall between you and her, and one of them is still kind of in the direction of where those footsteps were heard running off to. Landre, you're up.
All right. What's our sitch?
So you are currently about 40 feet from the small goblin wall, and you just saw Elin run past you over to kind of where Brad and this other cloaked figure are.
What became of the one orc that was by me?
There wasn't an orc by you?
I thought 2 orcs came over to investigate to see if I was sleeping, and then one ran into the Tulies.
No, only one of them came over. There was 2 orcs originally. There was the old one and the big burly one. And the burly one came over to you and then stomped on back. And then he got distracted by the sound and ran off.
So the only baddie that's near me is 40 feet.
Yes.
So where are they in the map, and also where is the duffel bag on the map?
So they are between left tent and large tent. And table is further past them.
Is there... Does anybody look like they have range attacks that I can see?
you can't see anyone who would have range attacks.
Okay. And what's the count?
What do you mean by count?
How many are there?
Oh, there's 4 goblins and the old orc.
Okay. And do I see any good sticks sticking out of the fire, or are they all in flames? Is there any way I could grab a torch?
They all seem pretty flaming.
Okay. I think what I'm going to do, since I don't have any weapons, is make a dash for the campfire and grab one of the big rocks around it. Something I could chuck. And I have that ability to lift things as if I'm a bigger size.
Okay.
How far is the campfire?
The campfire is about 20 feet from you.
Okay.
Probably 25 feet from you.
All right. I'll pick up a couple rocks.
Roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Oh, they're gonna sick the dogs on us.
Oh no!
Sorry, I don't know why they're barking.
16 down to 14.
14. How many rocks were you trying to pick up?
I wanted to grab one in each hand.
1 in each hand. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. So you grab one of them. You go to grab one of them, and you kind of like start to scoop it up with both hands so that you can kind of easily grab it. But the first one you grab, you scoop with one of your hands on the side facing the fire, and the rock is super hot.
Damn it.
And you take 2 fire damage
Jeez.
from it, but after kind of doing a little hot potato damage, or a hot potato action, sorry, with it, you're able to scoop up the second one more smartly. And you have 1 in each hand. 2 rocks held. Did you want to do anything else? Or just hold your stones?
I'm gonna be ready to throw it, but I'm gonna say, what are we doing here? Who are you people?
They do not make any response to you at all.
Okay. I assume picking up that rock and everything counted as an action?
I'll give it to you for a bonus action.
Then I'd like to hold my main action. If any of them approach me, I'm going to chuck this at them.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
Bring this to that. You guys hear a loud orcish shout from maybe 20 feet outside of the main camp.
Uh-oh.
Kind of clearing. And you don't see anything or hear anything else. And then the orc shaman kind of looks at all of you, and then over to where the shouting was, and she starts hobbling over to where the fire is, and then she turns so her back is facing it and just does that thing where she holds her arms out and just kind of like falls backwards into the fire. And as she kind of hits the ground or the firewood, her body explodes into these really large, dark-bodied moths that start flying south, which is actually north on the little picture. So I'm sorry for that.
Hmm.
So they fly towards the large tent. But they just keep flying out in that direction. Elin, it is your turn. One of the orcs just exploded into moths.
One of the shaman orc, or one
Yeah,
of
the shaman orc. You've only seen 2 orcs at this point, the shaman orc and the large one. And the large one is currently missing. Chris?
Yep.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm beginning to think that this was a bad idea to try to turn this into a combat situation. So,
What are you talking about? You've already beaten one of the enemies.
We haven't technically attacked anyone yet.
I mean, I
attacked the
shot a
goblin.
guiding bolt at the shaman,
Oh.
and they disintegrated it. So,
I got
I'm
spores.
going to I'm gonna continue to move my spiritual weapon for my bonus action towards the closest enemy. So, they were 40 feet away that one time, so it should be getting to them this time.
Yeah, it
Unless
passes
they
through the
moved.
fire and gets to them. And one of them is still coughing, and all of them look super confused as to what the fuck just happened with this orc shaman.
Okay. So let me just see how much it attacks for.
All the damage.
Clerics have too many spells that are available on the website or on the thing. There we go. So, make a melee spell attack against the creature with the weapon. That is probably not going to hit because that is a 5 plus. Let's see. So 5 plus 5, 10. Yeah, that's not happening.
That hits. No.
Oh, that.
Yes, that matches.
Good lord, these people are straight up naked. Okay, and so
Looking at these orcs,
1d8.
they're not or these goblins, they're not armored. They look like they got out of bed and ran up when they heard the noise.
All right, and so that's a 7 plus spellcasting ability modifier, which would be 3. So 10 damage to that one.
Yeah, you slice into the one that was kind of coughing as the other 2 start to kind of try to dodge out of the way. And it gives one like really heavy like cough where it's like and like lurches forward, and then it just gets like hit with this sword across like the back of the neck, and it just like falls.
So, all right, how much would you say our bag of weapons weighs?
Um, with everything in it, maybe like 40 pounds tops.
Okay,
I have a
so
javelin, a flail, and a halberd.
yeah, so what I'm going to do,
A few javelins.
yeah, I'm gonna switch directions here and start to run towards that bag. And
Oh, you can see your halberd on that table then, because it wouldn't fit in that bag.
I also have a quarterstaff.
Cool.
The quarterstaff is kind of like laying on top of the bag.
so basically, the only thing in the bag is my mace and shield,
Well, I
I
have
have a
and then our
centaur.
stuff. Yeah.
javelin,
Yeah, I have a centaur and a short bow.
javelins and a flail.
All right. So yeah, I'm just gonna like do a pivot and start running that way instead of running to the right.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and use my my action to dash.
So you will be running right past these goblins then.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Actually, instead of running, I will actually use my ASMR ability to be able to fly for a little while.
Oh, okay.
And let me see if that is an action to cast. Okay, so I'm only going to run 30 feet then, and as my action, I'm going to use my ASMR ability or activate it. And so, like after this turn for a minute, I'll have a 30-foot fly speed and deal radiant damage to my spells or attacks.
Okay. So you could get 25 feet to the campfire and then kind of jump into the air and be flying above it at this point.
Okay.
And that would put you at about 30 feet exactly, kind of right above that campfire.
All right. And so yeah, next turn I'm gonna try to just grab that bag and take it right into the air with me.
Sure. Lizanardo is going to look really confused as you like started running this way and then pivoted and turned and ran kind of the opposite direction exactly. And she just hunkers down kind of behind this pole. Uh Ramiro, what would you like to do?
I'm going to fly up into the air as well. And I am going to cast. I guess I'll do Ice Knife. And toss that at them. Let's see. Yeah, I'll toss the Ice Knife at one of the creatures.
Is that a spell attack?
Yes.
Okay.
14 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits. And then all of them make dex saves within 5 feet, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. This one takes damage because I hit. I don't like what you left.
None of them rolled above a 10.
Oh my gosh. The one that I aimed for, it takes 3 damage.
Okay.
And then the others take 8 cold damage.
Okay, so one of them gets one of the two remaining in the front line, kind of, so to speak, gets hit in the chest and taken off of his feet. And then this shard explodes into like this icy mist. And he gets just like rocketed into the ground and he is gonzo. And the other two are looking bad. They almost freeze completely solid. They kind of look like those cartoons where like oh, I'm in the Arctic and they've got like icicles dripping from their nose and that kind of stuff. One of them brushes kind of shakes his arms to get warmer, like where you rub your upper arm with your palm, and if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know how to describe it better than that, but yeah, he kind of goes, and then he pulls out a hatchet, and he's going to throw it at Elin, who is flying over this fire. And that will be does an 8 hit your AC?
Oh no, not even close. It like my AC laughs at that.
You hear a weird laughing.
You did say 8, right? Not 18?
Yeah, 8.
Okay.
The other one will walk to the satchel of weapons, and he'll pull out a javelin and throw it at you.
Rude.
My javelins.
And that's also an 8 because it's based off strength.
It literally hits me straight on and just like bounces off.
So there's a javelin in between you and the nearest goblin now. Jesus. Landre, you're up.
All right, who's left?
There's the 2 goblins from what you can see. And one orc ran off into the bushes and the other exploded into moths.
I'm going to throw my rock at one of the goblins as I'm making my way towards the weapons stash.
Okie dokie. And that is your second rock, correct?
No, I only picked up one hot one.
Well, yeah, but you picked up 2 rocks. I thought you threw one already.
I only got to pick up one. You said it was too hot for me.
No. You picked up both. You burned your hand on one, but then you were able to pick up the second.
Nice.
As well.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll throw a rock.
You were smarter about the second one.
I'll throw a rock and I'll have one for next turn.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry, I thought you already threw one. Roll an attack roll. Strength, not proficiency.
20 plus... So 23.
Oh, yeah. Did you roll a nat 20?
Uh-huh. And that's 1 damage.
What?
Are you going to count this as an improvised weapon?
Oh, I was going to count it as a d4.
That's what I rolled, a d4, and I got a 1.
Yeah, but you add your strength to it.
Oh, I didn't know I did that for damage.
And also you crit.
Yeah, so you roll another one.
So, well, I just do doubled. Sorry.
You
if
can
I
do
hadn't
that
said
too. That's fine.
Do I double the strength or just add the strength ones?
that. You calculate your damage as normal and then double that.
And then add strength on top.
No. You calculate damage as normal. So the d4 plus your strength. And then you double that.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, then that's going to be 8 damage.
Yeah. You hit it with this rock square in the face. And you get really confused because it looks like the rock keeps going through their head. But then they like fall forward, and the rock was the same shape and size as their head, and their head is missing, and the rock is just sitting on their shoulders as they fall forward.
Alrighty then. I'm going to the weapon stash.
All right. Had you moved last turn? I'm sorry.
I was standing by the fire.
Okay. So yeah, you are able to get within the weapon stash. However, the orc who is, or sorry, goblin. The goblin who is still at the weapon stash is going to try and punch you.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, if a 5 hits your AC, I guess you just deserve it.
Nope.
But
Maybe you should have left your dice in the other room and just made up what you roll.
apparently. So yeah. Just then the orc who had gone off screaming into the forest runs out from these reeds, and he is going to jump over the table with his hatchets in hand, and he's going to try and make 2 attacks at Landre. Okay, there we go. 13?
AC 17.
AC 17. So one of them will hit, as it was a 21. And that will be 5 damage as he clashes his one hatchet into your kind of shoulder, and then the other one sails high.
Yikes.
And Elin, it is your turn. You're about 15 feet from this table, where the orc literally jumped all the way over it and slammed into Landre.
All right, so I'm going to. So is the table like literally right next to the bag?
The bag is on top of the table.
Oh, okay. And then like the weapon,
The weapon's about 10 feet from the table, like 5 feet from you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all a straight line from where you were running.
Like on my way to grab the bag, and then fly up in the air, would I possibly be able to pick up Landre's weapon and toss it to him?
You can roll me a dexterity check to see if you are able to do that as a free action.
16?
I'll say you can do it as a bonus action.
Uh,
No, I've got my spiritual weapon. It's fine.
yeah, I think that, you know what? No, the spirit, yeah, I'll just, like kind of as I'm running, reach down and, grab the halberd and, toss it sideways to Landre so that it's not going like point first or anything like that. And then,
Okay. I was like, are you...
yeah, I'm just gonna chuck it at him.
Well, when you said sideways, I thought you meant like towards the big tent. Just like, go and get it, bud.
No, like you know, like when you're not
like
throwing
perpendicular
okay.
to him. I
Yep,
got you.
exactly. And I do that and then like continue on and like just grab the bag with both hands and just lift into the air and fly the rest of my movement up into the air.
Okay. Yeah, you're still pretty low flying. You're quite close to the table, but you were able to kind of maneuver around this orc's reach to do all that. Landre, roll me a sleight of hand, I guess. Check. If you're better at performance, you can use that.
Nope.
Okay.
17.
Oh yeah, you're able to grab this halberd, no problem, as it's flicked towards you.
Cool.
Is that your full turn then, Elin?
Yep.
Okay. Ramiro, you are up.
I think you did not grab my quarterstaff.
He has it. It was kind of laid like the long way across the bag, so that when he grabbed like the handles of the bag and pulled it up, it's It's not in the bag, but it's right on top of it.
Okay. I got that.
Okay.
I'm gonna fly down and smack one of the goblins with my quarterstaff.
Yeah. Yeah, you're able to do that pretty easily.
10 to hit.
That does not quite hit, though.
Damn. Okay. I'll spores it for how much my 2d4. 6 damage.
Yeah. You swing and you miss, and then like start coughing out spores, and almost instantly it starts coughing until it just like it like tries to breathe in and can't, and just kind of falls over backwards, clutching its throat.
Excellent.
Landre, you're up. There's an orc right in front of you, and a whole bunch of dead goblins.
I'm gonna halberd him with a 15.
Not quite.
Damn it. I'm trying to. I think that's gonna be my turn. I have an idea for next turn though.
Okay. So that brings us to the orc right in front of you. And he will take 2 swings with his hatchets. A swing with each. Wow, that was bad. But that will be a 17 to hit. That matches, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so he has some trouble pulling the one hatchet out of your arm. And when he tries to swing it again, he just fully misses. But then he catches you on the other side for another 4 damage.
I think because I'm kind of hurting, I'm gonna use my reaction to reduce that.
Okay, sure.
But I can do that on my own time. Okay, so I take 0 damage.
You take 0 damage. Okay, that's pretty big. You're at 7 HP right now, then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Then, Elin. You just saw this. You're about 10 feet from this orc.
How close am I to
Laundry?
laundry? Yeah.
Like 15 feet. He's basically like on the opposite side of this orc, and you're kind of flying in the air a little bit.
All right. So I am going to if I fly over to him to where I can touch him for lay on hands, or wait, it's not exactly lay on hands, but it's a thing I can do as a cleric.
Mm-hmm.
How like would I end up going through the attack space of the orc?
You could fly up and around if you wanted. You're already kind of out of his range. Because you had flown up a little bit, and then he had charged over. And like just straight jumped over this table. So yeah,
All right.
you could fly up and around pretty easily. It would probably be 20 feet.
All right. So yeah, I'll fly up and around and uh see exactly what it says here. Yeah, it is with touch. So yeah, I'll fly over to him, touch him, then he'll regain 3 hit points. And
Okay.
Nice.
I'll like fly back up into the air like the rest of my um movement, and then also use my bonus action to move the um spiritual weapon over to the orc and attack it.
Okay.
That's a 6 plus 5, 11. That hit him last time, didn't it? Oh wait, that was a goblin.
No, no, no. Yeah, this goblin is wearing fairly decent looking plate mail from what you have seen about like goblin barbarian tribes. Where it's not like a full set of plate mail, but
What about the orc? That's who I was going after when
I'm
an
sorry,
11 hit
that
him.
yeah, that's who I meant, the orc. I
Oh,
said goblin on
okay.
accident. All of the goblins are dead at this point.
The orc is wearing goblin plate armor.
Pretty much. It does seem very ill-fitting.
Oh,
Um,
I think that it is made of goblins.
Mm,
He's just wearing
wow.
6 goblins on his chest, and you've successfully taken out 1 goblin from his armor. Yeah. Yeah, he's
One by
wearing
one.
like yeah,
All right, Brian, you know the
orc
artwork
is
that you owe for the Dolby thing? That's what you need to draw, is the orc wearing goblin armor.
Please.
Oh god, I'm dying.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. The orc is wearing ill-fitting kind of patchwork plate mail.
All right, and I'm pretty sure I only have 3 more rounds of the spiritual weapon as well, so just so you all know that.
Okay.
That sounds right. And then you've got 8 more rounds of flying.
Yep.
Yeah. Um Lizanardo is going to kind of come forward a little bit from the post, and she gets about even with the campfire, but she's more on the side of the rightmost tent. Landre, would you like to do anything on your turn?
Yeah, I want to hit him again. Who's
And-
left besides this orc?
Just that orc.
Oh,
All the goblins are dead. The orc shaman exploded into moths.
I ain't even gonna rage. I'm just gonna hit him.
Wait, are you a barbarian and you haven't raged this in this combat?
Yeah.
Oh, not rage. I mean, I'm a
Oh.
paladin.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
are you
okay.
a 1/1 paladin barbarian?
It's gonna be 20.
Because yeah, if you were a barbarian and you hadn't raged in this combat, I was about to like, I don't know, leap through the internet and beat your ass.
I take back all the healing. You said 21 to hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that it.
Where'd my D10 go? Oh, what the hell? D10. I used a D12 last time. Oh no, I didn't even hit last time. That's why I sort of. Here we go. 7, 8, 9, 10 damage.
Not bad. Yeah, you get a solid strike on this orc in front of you. He looks more angry than hurt.
Yeah,
But
that would have
that's-
probably been a real good one to smite on.
That's
You
kind of
flashed or
how
left?
Really good.
That's kind of how all orcs get in battle, though. But it is his turn. Ramiro, did I skip you?
I think so.
Okay. You can take your turn before him then,
Okay.
because then it's just Landre went before you.
I'm gonna fly down and I'm gonna smack him with my quarterstaff.
Okie dokie.
I'm supposed to die.
No.
Oh, jeez. Yes. Okay, they're still going dice jail. Awesome. That's a 10 to hit. That didn't work.
Nope.
Alright.
You actually managed to clang off of both the orcs and Landre's armor at the same time.
Impressive. I'm gonna force him for 2d4.
Okay.
I want to add it. That's 6 damage.
Okie dokie.
I'm doing it right into his face. Because fuck him.
Yep. He starts coughing from these spores, and he yells something in Orcish that you can't understand.
I yell back at him.
Are you yelling in common, or are you just squawking at him?
I'm squawking.
He looks a little taken aback at that. He was not expecting that. And are you moving out of range from him, or are you staying right there?
I'm gonna fly up like 10 feet.
Okay, he will get an attack of opportunity from that then.
That's fine. Bring it on.
Beep. That was an 11. So that misses.
Nope.
So yeah, he's real thrown off by that honking.
My armor class kind of laughs at that.
And he decides to focus back on the target he knows he can hit with the only non-flying opponent in front of him, Landre. And that was a 19 and a 23 to hit.
Jeez. Is it
Both of
double
them?
attack?
2 attacks, yeah.
Ouch. Ouch and ouch.
Both of them?
Yeah.
That's rough. If only you had allies who could also get in melee range.
Nope. I'm too squishy.
Take 12 damage from his hatchets.
All right. Down again.
I'm so sorry.
You know what's great about this? I'm a cleric, but I'm a war cleric.
I was gonna say you're the only one who's not level 2 right now. So you have by far the most HP.
And the highest AC.
Yeah.
Is it my turn now?
It is, yes. And
Okay.
you saw Landre get cleaved into with these hatchets, and it was just kind of like a two-handed, like, cross axe motion. X motion? I'm sorry. Bleh.
At seeing this, I yell out, "No!" and like have that kind of look like Luke Skywalker when Obi-Wan gets cut down on the Death Star by Darth Vader. And I for one attack him with my spiritual weapon.
Okay.
And so here's the thing: if I attack him with the spiritual weapon from one side, can I fly on the other and get flanking?
I will give you flanking for the spiritual weapon, but not for your actual attack.
Oh, okay. So yeah, in that case, I'll do it in the reverse order, where like I swoop down behind him and make an attack with my mace.
Okay.
And it is a 13 plus 4, 17. Does that hit?
That hits.
Okay. Whew. All right. And that is going to be 4 bludgeoning damage plus 3 radiant damage.
Okay. He looks quite hurt by this attack.
All right, and then now I'll roll the advantage for the spiritual weapon, and that is a 17 plus 5.
Oh yeah.
And that is going to be 8 on the 8-sided die. So that plus the 3 radiant.
So this longsword have been flying around. It runs him straight through the chest from behind,
All
and
right.
he drops to his knees in front of you, and kind of like he drops his hatchets, and then he, before he like finally slumps over, he lets out this roar, stands up, and grabs the longsword from his back that's like stabbed into his back, and just pulls it around like an actual weapon.
All right.
And Ramiro, it's your turn.
I'm going to, as a bonus action, do Healing Word on Andre.
Okay.
Hoorah!
That is a D4. So you get 4 health back.
Yay.
Hmm.
Do I actually get 4 health, or does it just stabilize me to 1?
I will say that you get 4 health back. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
20 plus 2.
Oh shit! Yeah, you are back up, my dude.
I go from 1, so I have 5? Or I go from 0?
Go from 0.
4 health.
And then the orc's still up, right?
Yep.
I'm going to cast Entangle as well. It needs to be a DC 13 for strength.
Okie dokie. Is that just him, or is there like an area of effect on that?
20-foot square from a point within range.
Okay, so choose if you want Landre or Elin to be in the range of this, because they're like kind of on opposite sides of him.
Who has the highest strength?
My strength is 17.
Yeah, mine's a plus 2 mod, so like a 14 or 15.
Alright, so probably have Landre in it.
Okay. He rolled a 15 strength.
Damn it. Okay. Landre needs strength saving. Yeah. Strength. No, not strength saving throw.
Strength save.
Yeah.
Okay. Landre, you can do that with advantage.
Okay. 20, 21, 22.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
That's enough.
Because yeah, you were like half in it. Is there any other effects from that if they pass?
No.
Okay. And is that your full turn?
Yep. Unfortunately.
Okay. So, Landre, because you went to death saving throws, and then came back, I am going to put you at initiative 0, which is just going to be behind this orc.
Alright.
So he is going to let out another scream in Orcish, which none of you understand. And he's going to roll or radiant sword, I guess, at Elin.
All right.
And oh yeah, dirty 20 to hit.
Yeah, that hits me.
And it's a longsword, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And since he's using it two-handed, that will be. It was like on the 9, and then it rolled over to 1, so it does 4 damage to you.
All right.
Is that radiant damage, or is it just slashing?
Yeah, it would just, well, it would be, I think, hold on, let me find it again.
Sorry.
So I know it'll have radiant attached to it because my spells have that right now.
Oh yeah.
God damn it, where is it? It's force damage.
Force damage. Okay, and then you take another 1d4 of radiant, or
No, it's just 3.
3.
My
Okay,
spell level, yeah.
gotcha.
And so that is 7 total.
Yeah.
Alright.
And you can tell that the weapon is straight up being like strong armed. Like it's not just like a sword that's there for anyone to take. This orc is straight up like forcing it through sheer force of will to attack you with it.
Alright.
So it is your turn, and if you want, you can still attack with it. Like you still have control of it.
Yeah. So first things first, I am going to.
I thought Chris was at the top of the order.
Yeah, and
Yes,
you
you're
were
right.
moved to
I'm
the bottom.
sorry. Yeah, Landre should be up now because it is
Okay.
now initiative 0.
How's this orc
Thanks,
looking?
Brian. Not great.
Okay.
Real not great.
I think I'm pissed off at him enough to use my smite. Okay, swinging with a terrible swing.
Oh no.
Comes to 10.
Just a bit outside.
All right. Chris can go.
All right. So yeah, he hits me with my own spectral sword, and I like pretty much just tank it like without flinching, and just look at him straight in the eyes, and I cast command. So he is going to need to make a wisdom saving throw or follow my one-word command.
Okay.
And the DC is
Doesn't matter.
13.
What's your
Okay.
command?
Kneel.
He looks like he's really fighting this. As he like sinks the sword blade into the ground and then drops to one knee, and he's kind of trying to push himself back up. And then he drops to both knees, and he's just holding himself up by the hilt of this spectral blade right now.
All right. And since he's basically prone, can I get advantage on the spectral sword attack with my bonus action?
I'll give you a +3 to attack.
Oh, okay. That's a natural 20.
Oh my god.
Describe it.
All right. So yeah, like he gets kind of forced to the ground in this position, and then the sword like sort of like twists out of his hands, and it's like his arms are like shaking trying to hold on to it, and then it just like extremely slowly just like points into his face and just slowly goes in, like first through his nose and then just like through the rest of his face and then out the back of his head.
Jeez.
And then like it disappears as soon as it's all the way through as I you know command the bell to end.
And while he's doing that, I take a piece of wood and I put it under the guy's nail.
Roll me a sleight of hand check, Landre.
7.
Okay. You are able to do that because you didn't nat one it. I was really hoping you were going to give yourself another splinter. So yeah, as you look around this kind of campsite, after slowly and painfully, almost methodically executed this orc leader, is there anything you guys would like to do specifically?
Peek inside the tents.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I thought that.
So each one of you goes to a different one of these tents. I'll say, Ramiro, you peek inside the large tent, and it's very bare bones. It is just like 4 beds, and the walls of the tent, there's no even like liner on the bottom or anything. It's just walls and a ceiling kind of held up with dry leathers. You do see some hatchets laying around and some really garbage tier daggers that were probably what the orcs would, or sorry, what the goblins would normally use in battle, as well as some like next to them are like kind of tatters of leather armor. And you remember the goblins that ran out of the tent were, some of them had like a hatchet or a dagger on them, and none of them were armored at all. So they kind of just like ran out right away when they heard a noise. And this is kind of the rest of their armaments.
Okay.
Landre, you move to the excuse me. You move to the one of the smaller tents, the one on the west side. It's very much the same. It's like a bedroll. And there's a small kind of altar set up at the foot of the bedroll. But there's really nothing. Excuse me. There's really nothing interesting about this, but you do find a small brass ring. And you think that it would probably fit on your finger, on your pinky finger, if you wanted to put it on.
No fucking way. I will pocket it.
Sure. Elin, you move into the easternmost tent. It is about the same size as the western tent. They're both one-person tents. This one is kind of decorated around both the inside and outside with different animal skulls and bones. And moving into it, it's strange because there's no bed set up, but there's a second small fire burning in the center of it. and there are various pouches kind of hanging along the walls of it.
All right. Would I recognize the components of any of these pouches?
Oh God, excuse me. Looking into them, they look like kind of like if you bought a component pouch at a store, at a marketplace, that is. But they're like separated into uh individual pouches each. So one of them you kind of see like some bone meal. Some of them has just various metal shavings, and another one has some different types of feathers in it, and etc. etc. Nothing seems to be valuable in any of them other than kind of spell components.
All right. Is like I'll pocket all the components and stuff. And is there like any sort of like altar in here or anything like that? Something that would be used to like pray to some god or anything?
Strangely enough, you don't see anything that even could be remotely considered religious in here.
All right, then yeah, after I got the components and stuff, I will take a stick out of the fire and burn the tent down
Okay.
You can't
and walk
take a
out of there.
stick out of the fire. I already tried that. He said all
This
the
is a
sticks were on fire.
this is a very low burning fire in here. You could probably grab one of those fairly easily. It might take
All
some
right,
work to actually catch it on fire, but once it does, it's dried hide and woven with some grasses and
all right.
ropes, so like the tent will burn pretty easily. Yeah, you
And
can do
then
that.
yeah, and after I do that and walk out of the tent, our um Chuggington and the other person still unconscious.
I'm going to say,
um, yeah, Brad still looks super unconscious, and as does the other figure.
All
if
right,
you,
I'm going to go over there and try to resuscitate them using like a medicine check.
as he's
Okay.
doing that, I'll say, if you set these all ablaze, where will we stay the night?
Do you really plan on staying the night in an enemy camp in which one of the assailants just flew away in a cloud of moths? I suggest we get out of here as fast as possible.
And go where?
Back where we came.
I have no memory of where we came. The last I remember, we were on a very different path.
We
I'd
had
say
been
agree with the
going
big guy.
we had been going north for several days. If we go south for several days, we'll probably end up where we were.
That is
If
a
we keep the
very...
mountains at our back, then we are going the right way.
Oh, we can tell where we are based on our horizon?
Roll me survival checks.
Yes, I'm interested in.
I got
Now you roll nice.
14.
19.
10.
Ramiro, you are not able to see anything on the horizons, but based on the stars, you've spent enough time out in nature to know that you're probably 3 or 4 days south of the city that you originally departed from, Magnes.
Or south of the city.
Yes.
Based on where we are and what the stars say, I suggest we go north. It'll be 3 to 4 days before we get back to the city.
So be it then, as long as we do not stay here.
Very well.
Andre? Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to go and revive Brad and the mystery person.
Both of them seem to kind of stabilize at your help, but they're very disoriented and don't seem to know where they are at all.
Well,
Brad
that
at
makes
least
all of us.
Brad at least kind of recognizes you, but he can't offer any. He's just kind of like, oh, Elin. Whoa. Oh.
Does that that carriage that was in the camp, does that have like horses with it, or?
Yes, it's more of a cart.
Oh, okay.
It's very similar to what Farmer Jenkins had, except this one's a little bit smaller, more like it's made for carrying, I don't know, 4 goblins and a shaman, as well as 3 tents. About, uh, but yes, you could easily pack up anything you need onto this and head out immediately.
All right. Guess that's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
Sure.
And as we go
Um,
through the reads, they go do 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 do.
Yikes. So yeah, we will call it there for the night. You are on your way back to Magnes. You have successfully killed an orc and some goblins,
Hooray.
and as you kind of push your way through these dew blades to get back on the main road, you weren't very far off of it. Just where they kind of decided to pull off for the night. You notice that these dew blades are also that same kind of petrified crop, where they're very brittle to the touch.
Blood
Hmm.
crops.
But yeah, that's you're back on your way to Magnes.
Cool, cool, cool.
Hooray!
Yay.
Yay!
Yeah. Also, did any of you actually get payment from Farmer Jenkins as you left?
No, we did
Because
not.
I think you guys just dipped.
Yeah.
We have to go
yeah.
back and visit the Vander money.
No, he definitely already paid you. You don't have the money, but he's gonna say that he paid you.
Oh shit.
Might have to rough them up a bit.